Greetings and salutations, and welcome to episode 101. No, not Highway 101, and no, it's not 101 Dalmatians, but it is episode 101 of The Other Side of the Ball, as we are coming off celebrating episode 100 last week. And good evening, Travis. How are you? Thank you for chiming in as always. Hi, I'm Double A, and
Travis is that dude. He is like standing by, ready to rock and roll. Let's go.
Every time. It's like he waits for us to come up and then just stay.
Joined by Chris and joined by Derek Duncan, and joining us from his car. Or is that a rental?
Nope, it's my mother-in-law's car.
No, there you go. Well, joining us, he's Travis just said, "I'm at work with my notifications on." There you go. So there you have it. So Travis is just literally waiting for us to come on the air every Wednesday at 5:30.
Well, Ms. Law, I know you said that's your mother-in-law's car, but it looks like a badass fake background.
It does look like a movie setting.
Well, I got my phone in between the steering wheel, so
yeah, I feel you. It looks like it's CGI with a green screen. Like, it's cool.
Might be better CGI than some of these movie studios, that's for sure. But nonetheless, welcome. Episode 101 of The Other Side of the Ball, as we're coming to you live from our own personal studios. But nonetheless, gentlemen, how are you doing on this first Wednesday of September?
Horrible. Don't ask me that question. You guys go ahead and answer that question, and just skip me with this one.
I'm doing horrible.
Chris, why are you doing horrible?
Chris, did you say you're doing horrible?
Horrible.
Uh-oh.
It's 20 days before my 53rd birthday. How do you think I'm doing?
Oh, good Lord. Will you stop it? Good grief.
I would say you're living and you're healthy. I'd say you're doing damn good.
I would say.
Any day above ground is a good day, but still. Don't really want to think about that 53rd.
Oh, will you stop?
Because you're closer to 55 than you are to 50?
Yeah, shut up. I've already got Tammy handing me my AARP friggin' mail.
Hey, but you've earned those discounts.
Dude.
Oh, wait, so you're close enough to where you can get the senior discount when you go to restaurants then, right?
Yeah, you can get that 55 plus.
There
in
we
2
go.
years.
There you go. Say, getting close.
Travis
is right. Yes, getting old is the goal. I never get upset about a birthday, man. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, let me just say this about you guys talking about the AARP. I love you guys, every single last one of you. I love you. You're number one in my heart, number one in my soul. I'm telling you.
Well, cuz when you're available too, let us know. The link has already been sent to you, so when you're just available, just pop in to make your announcement, because I don't want to spoil it for you. I want you to make it, but when you're available, just let us know. But I actually found out this announcement literally like 15 minutes ago, and I was like, oh, that's how you feel.
So Dub.
Yes.
EJ Wizzle said, "Wish I could come on, but I'm at work at the moment." And then you could then respond, so everyone who's listening at home would know what you're talking about.
That's what I just said, because when I posted the comment, I said, "Cuz when you're available, let me know."
Right,
basically, what he's saying is, for the audience that may not be watching, read the question so they can know the question and you answer the question. That's
okay. I'm not going to be double teamed by both of y'all. Okay,
this ain't no double teaming.
Pause, bro. It ain't that kind of party.
Hey, don't be mad at me that you're not following direction.
I didn't say I was mad. I just ain't gonna be double teamed.
What is my saying, Dub? Get your together, bro.
They're trying to make you airtight.
Oh no, Chris.
No Diddy.
We said pause, not fast forward, bro.
It ain't no Diddy. It's no diddler. No diddler.
We have gone off the record, and we're only 5 minutes. We're only 6 minutes in, folks.
Yeah, that's how we do this.
Is that a new record?
Mr. Bridges is going in. He says, "What's good, fellas?" Then he says, "I can see Chris growing his hair back."
Chris is just busy.
Cuz just said I'll be off at 6. Cuz we're here till 7:00. So once you clock out, just hop on in. The link's been sent to you. So whenever you clock out and get comfortable, hop on in. So he says we'll be off at 6. If you guys are still on, I'll jump in. So there you go.
And to make sure we give equal time to both gangs, Bloods can come on at 6 too.
We don't subscribe to either side.
No, I'm good with both sides.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I went to Western High School. Our colors were red and blue. Dog. We're good.
And he says, "Okay, most up." Well, for some of us, it's actually Christmas Eve, give or take. And then for others, Christmas will start on the 8th, and for others, Christmas will start on the 9th. But for some, Christmas starts tomorrow and Friday for others, and we'll just go from there. But gentlemen, how has been the first week of September been for you guys? How was? And Mr. Bridges just said Derek has had a few drinks.
Hold on a second, Mr. Bridges. I am completely sober. That's what's beautiful. This is the real Derek having fun with no stress around me right now. I get a few drinks in me, I'm gonna really let loose. It's not during ASM NFL football season, so I can just let go and have fun with my life.
That's right. AKA Christmas.
Damn, then I must be really stressed out.
No, that's not a matter of stress. You're just relaxing. I might need to get my relax on too. But no, this is the month of September. It is a dry month for me because I do the Great Cycle Challenge where I'm riding 300 miles for childhood cancer research and awareness and raising funds. So mixing alcohol with that isn't the best situation. So September's a dry month for me.
So Derek, if you don't mind me asking.
Yep, I do that dry month too, but I do mine in February.
Well,
you guys could ask me why later.
No, I was saying, Derek, what made you get involved in this great cause? What led to you getting involved in that?
Can I be honest? Originally, because my hot ass girlfriend at the time said she was doing it. She's not my wife, and so now I do it because it's a great cause, and I was raising funds for childhood cancer, and then, unfortunately, about 7 years into our fundraising, my cousin, who was literally one of my favorite people in the world, Christopher Davis, God rest your soul, C. Dave, died from a late developing childhood brain cancer. So, and then there's other folks in my life who we've lost to other various forms of cancer, but this one's specifically for childhood cancer. So I ride for all those folks to keep their memory alive and to try to do my best to get ourselves in a situation where we don't have to raise money for cancer ever again.
Well, that is a very, very good cause, because I definitely know that is one of the causes that Buster Posey and his wife do a lot of stuff for childhood cancer. So that is a very good cause. And I know if you go to Derek's Facebook page, he does have the link to where you can also contribute and ride for this tremendous, amazing cause. Because as we always like to say, fuck cancer and cancer sucks and all those expletives and adjectives in between when mentioning this horrendous disease. And definitely, we definitely want to find a cure for all forms of it. So definitely a great cause that you're doing it for, and definitely kudos to you for doing it, and hopefully others will join in the cause and join in the fight.
Look, I have raised $15,000 over the 11 years that I've been doing it. We've been averaging about $1,300 a year, so we're hoping we can hit some numbers like that this year. But you can ride for us and raise money on your own, which is great. We appreciate that. If you're not the riding type and want to donate through putting money through me, that's great. If not, if you just want to like and share my posts every time after I ride to help me get awareness out there, that's just as good. So whatever it is, however you want to do it, if you want to support, we appreciate it. If you just want to breeze past it and go on, that's cool too. But that's what we're out here doing.
Nice.
Well, I sentiment the sound machine that Chris was making the applause, and I second that motion. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Sorry.
All right, gentlemen. So,
got to start paying.
So, How do we build off the momentum off of episode 100 and turn that into episode 101 of this edition of the
We
Other Side
start
of the
by
Ball?
getting Chris off the McDonald's Wi-Fi. His shit seems to keep going in and out. Apparently the shit's contagious, and the only way to get rid of it is to give it to somebody else.
Actually, I was just thinking I got to bring my my Wi-Fi extender up here, so that way. So I just noticed I have very little
Hair
Wi-Fi signal up here. So
yeah, the good old Wi-Fi booster. But
hair too. That too. Very little hair.
Look, I'm not gonna lie, my shit's freezing up too. I'm gonna have to figure some shit out.
Oh wow.
well, that's one issue I don't have to worry about. Is
So it is contagious. Damn you,
I
Doug.
got too many Excel spreadsheets.
You gave us both
Why must the light skin always got to get blamed for stuff that he didn't do?
You started it.
Hey, you're talking to two other light skins. What you talking about?
Okay,
Right.
the clear. Okay, the clear one. That would be me.
The clear one.
Hey,
Clairvoyant.
well, I mean, I'm just saying. Bill Murray had one of the greatest movie quotes of all time. Larry's not white. Larry's clear, in reference to Larry
Right.
Bird.
Yes.
So
I used to say,
Larry,
I used to
Larry
say,
might
yeah,
be clear, but Larry's
he's so
really
white,
like
he's
a black
all
man.
cool.
no, Larry. Well, Larry, he was called Larry Legend for a reason. That goes without saying. But interesting stuff
You know what?
going on.
I mean, not to get on the basketball tip, but have you ever looked at Larry Bird's game and tried to compare him to Steph Curry with the way he moves on the court? They're very similar.
Yeah, just one's a little slower than the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, it was the 1980s. Everybody was slow back then. Let's be real.
Well, I mean, the one thing that Larry might have a little bit over Wardell is basketball IQ, but I mean, as far as just range and just getting his shot any way you want to, I mean, they are both very, very similar. I
Wait,
always
did
say,
you just say that Larry Bird has better basketball IQ than Steph Curry?
I did say that, and I'm the biggest,
Well,
and I'm one of
This
the
ain't the
biggest.
NBA show, but we're gonna have to explore that sometime. Because wow,
Well, I mean, again, just think about what Larry Bird could have done if he didn't have those back issues. I mean, there's a lot of
we can imagine what Curry could have did if his ankles didn't really give out on him as well.
That's true too.
all right. So, like I said, we can pick that up another time on the NBA show. But this is the A7FL show. I was just trying to make sure I understood what you was talking about. We'll take care of that on the other side
I
of the
just
ball.
want to say one thing. Think about what Steph could do if he was another 5 inches taller like Larry. We'll leave that one.
All facts. But that'll be a fun conversation.
Facts.
But I guess you can say the countdown is beginning because there is a war coming, and what I mean by that is this right here, folks.
Ooh,
Winter is coming. And he can make something magical happen here. And there goes the ball. It's going. It's going. You're a fan. Battles will be won. Hold on now.
At the 30, and he
Who's going to take victory?
and that's why championship points matter.
It's time for war.
As Chris got kicked out during this little video that was brought to you
I
by
think he was scared of the deep voice. He had to- He's like, oh no, monster!
But no, that was brought to you by, speaking of EJ Wizzle, that was brought to you by EJ Wizzle and the people at Creative Brothers Productions. They're the ones that put that video together in reference to the Winter War that is coming in January. So if I'm not mistaken, Derek, now is this going to be like a tournament style type of thing? Just for those that are not knowing what's going to come up with Winter War, what exactly is the ground rules for this upcoming Winter War, formerly known as the Fall Brawl?
Yeah, so this is a departure from Fall Brawl. because it is actually starting in the winter. We're starting in January. Everyone's complaining about Fall Brawl taking place primarily in winter anyway. So now we've changed the name up to Winter War. As A7NFL Streams and Memes says, winter is coming. I love it. I'm a Game of Thrones fan myself. Love that shit. So basically, yeah, it's a tournament style. The first week we'll have some sort of seeding, and then teams 1 through 8 will play each other. Each week will be an elimination round. It's going to be double and triple elimination. So the bottom brackets, the losers will go into the losers brackets and play other teams. Everyone will have a game week regardless, though. So if you lost 2-3 weeks in a row, you keep playing, but you won't have a shot at the championship. That way, the top teams keep playing the top teams, bottom teams keep playing the bottom teams, seeing where everybody stands. And on February 2nd, I believe, is the championship. Pro Bowl Sunday will be our championship as well. And the winner of that will get a slot in the A division if they are not one of the top 3 teams. So I don't believe Sickwit is playing this year. I don't believe Force is playing this year. So that leaves it wide open. Insomniacs will likely play it. If they do, there's a chance that they'll win, but they're not having most of their starters play. But so where we're going to set it up is Winter War will determine the 4th team in the A division. So it's Insomniacs, Sickwit, Force, and then the highest ranked team from Winter War that is not one of those 3 teams will make up the A division of spring football next year, and the bottom 4 will make up the B division. And if there are more than 8 teams, then those remaining bottom teams will make up a C division, who will not be playing for the championship in the spring, but will still have an opportunity to play A7NFL football and have an experience playing against the B teams to try to get themselves up and get their A7 chops going. So basically, we're going to have a division, which will be our pro division, our B division, which will be our emerging division, and our C will be, our development division, getting guys ready to try to play B or A ball, and where those established teams will recruit from.
Now, will the A division, will that in a sense be kind of like the team that travels per se, if there is going to be cross games this upcoming spring in 2025? Is that the idea anyway?
Yeah, in every version of a schedule that we put together so far, it will be only the top teams that will be traveling and playing in those travel games, or people are traveling to Vegas to play them, because we want to make sure that the comp is comp. We can't have any 70-0 and 54-0 games for travel weeks. That just literally doesn't make sense. It's bad for TV. It's bad for morale, and it's bad for the health of the players. We've seen that most of the forfeit games that we ended up with, guys are getting hurt too, just from being outmatched and outstrength and not having enough guys on the field to have the depth to go 4 quarters. Anyway, whether the score was there or not. So this method keeps the comp at a somewhat even level. We expect, let's say if we looked at it this year, team number 4 would have likely, let's say, have been OTT or the Pit Bosses, depending on what time of year you were looking at it. They held their own against some of the higher division teams, but still got kind of work. We're hoping that by doing this A division team, that the guys that would be in the B division team that are the upper echelon of those will move up to one of those A teams and fill out those rosters so that 4th team can be strong. And we got the Silver State Stealth that are coming in this year, and they've got a lot of steam behind them. And I don't know how strong they look like. They might be the early favorite to be one of those top 4 teams, but they've also got a lot of guys from SIC and the Force that aren't playing in the Winter War. So who knows what they'll be looking like for spring? But if they end up winning the thing or being that top team, that'll give them the opportunity to recruit to that spot because they participated and did what they needed to win that spot.
All sounds interesting, and
Yes, it does.
Really can't wait to see this thing unfold when it all gets down in Mizzle's birthday month of January.
Yeah, let me just say, part of this is to make it. You say Mizzle's birthday month?
It is January. Yes.
Well, that's right. You're coming out for a game too, right? Oh, I'm sorry. You're coming to Vegas to celebrate, and you might happen to go to a game. It's for wifey, bro. Just roll with it.
No. The reason why we're coming out there is for the A7. That's the main focus.
Oh, that's live. All right. Well, I appreciate that. Yeah. So
do some drinking too.
Yeah, January is not a dry month. January is definitely not a dry month. So the other thing about this is we want to make sure that we never hear fall don't count ever again from our counterparts in the East, because when you're playing for a spot in the spring, winter/fall absolutely counts. So that's going to be a big thing here out west.
All right. Now, joining us, folks, from CUSN and part of Creative Brothers Productions, the one, the only, fresh off of work, EJ Wizzle. Cuz, welcome officially to the other side of the ball.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. Appreciate it.
All right, so
let's go.
So I have done teased it per se, but cuz I'm gonna let you go ahead and make the formal announcement that you told me about 25 minutes ago. So go ahead, the floor is yours.
All right, so pretty much I got a production company, but on the side, I started a sports network company. Pretty much we cover like the underground sports like semi-pro football, semi-pro basketball, semi-pro baseball, anything that's like surrounding semi-pro, we pretty much covering that. So I reached out to Derek and I asked, while I was seeing that A7FL really doesn't, I didn't see nothing with like posting with like power rankings or MVP rankings or, anything like that. So, I took it upon myself to reach out to Derek and, present that to him. So pretty much we're coming in, partnering with the A7 to bring that to you guys and, to bring some media and, bring some more exposure and, bring something to talk about throughout the season while you guys are on the field pretty much. Give you guys that, that professional kind of, feel. So so you guys can have something more to play for, something more to be more engaging, pretty much even with the fans and with the players.
So I just want to say thank you for even having the desire to cover A7 at that level. We, as a collective, try to do our best to cover it, but having someone who is in the world of media like yourself take the time to actually put focus on it is a beautiful thing and is going to help elevate our platform, and we hope also elevate yours. So I want to make an announcement that I haven't told you yet, because I wanted to see if you were coming on the show tonight to see if we were going to do this. In light of you taking this on and covering A7 at that level, we want to make you an official voter for our weekly top 10, which will ultimately determine the top 8 teams that will get into the playoffs for A7FL.
Go.
Oh, wow. Wow. I'm honored, for real. I'm honored. Wow. That's amazing. Wow. Yeah, so I'm definitely honored. Oh, wow.
So the way it's structured right now is we're going to have a coaches poll that each week the coaches are going to have to submit their top 10, and that will have a 30% weight on the top 10. We're going to have the shows that cover the A7FL also have their top 10, and that will be the remaining 70%. We're going to score each vote for 1 through 10, and the aggregate of those and the coaches poll will determine the top 10 weekly. So we're going to run it exactly like the BCS did in its early inception, with the coverage like we do college football now. So 4 region winners is the way it's structured, depending on how things go. So if it was last year, we would have had a Florida region, Northeast region, an Ohio region, and a West region or a Vegas region. So those 4 champions from those divisions would have hosted a game, right? And the top teams, the remaining top 4 teams that weren't those division winners, would then travel to those locations to play in the Elite 8 first round. So our media covering teams, the Mizzle and Dub Show, Other Side of the Ball, Jaffos, RTU, Lau Wilkins, CP3, Price is Right, 3-on-1, each group will weigh in with their own weekly top 10 and have a weekly top 10 release, whether they do it as a show or on their Facebook platform, whatever that is. Okay. And then that aggregate will determine, along with the coaches poll, will determine the actual top 10 results.
Okay.
So y'all gonna help determine some futures and make some people mad as fuck.
Hey, no, I'm with it because it's definitely all for the players. So and kind of engagement, kind of reactions and more enthusiasm, more will for them to play. I'm with that. I can't wait.
Well, we're glad to have you on board, man. Thank you so much for bringing your talents to the A7FL. We need gentlemen like you covering us to get where we want to be in life.
Yeah, I definitely see the direction that the A7 is going. So it's definitely a bright future. Definitely.
Oh, Travis, I forgot the parlay is included as well. Sorry, I didn't mention them because I haven't talked to Woody in quite a bit. But yeah, the parlay is absolutely involved. Travis said, except Florida, LOL. So, no, Travis, I made sure that we got Wood and the parlay guys involved for sure. There's also a podcast in Ohio that we're trying to get the information on to make sure that they're going to be consistent with their podcasting and involvement. Because if they are, then we will take their input as well.
Hey, Derek, do you have a sneak peek kind of power ranking for the Winter Wars?
I could probably develop one quickly based on who I think is going to be involved. I would say right now,
pre-projection.
Yeah, pre-projection. I would say if everything goes the way I think it's going to go, it will be Insomniacs 1, Silver State Stealth 2, OTT 3, Pit Bosses 4, Kryptonite 5, Gold 6, Hunters 7. We're looking for a couple more teams, or at least one more team to jump in, but that's where we're at right. Oh, I'm sorry. I believe the Alienators are coming back, and if that's the case, we got to wedge them in that 3-4 spot somewhere at the top because they balled out that first year they were here.
I also
the Alliance.
What about the Alliance, Derek?
And the Alliance, yes, the SBA Alliance. They're also in that 3-4 spot. So it's hard to say who's going to recruit what. But I've been talking to the Stealth. They seem like they got a lot of the skill players from both Force and Sick that are going to be running with them if it comes down that way, which would obviously catapult them into a 2 spot like that because obviously Force and Sick are the 2 and 3 team of our division. So if they were combine their efforts, they could potentially. If they took the best of their players. Obviously, Sick was able to beat the Insomniacs at their best fully loaded. So, they deserve to be up in that 2-3 spot for sure.
Yeah.
So EJ, you just made me think of that off the top of my head. I'm going to have to put together a list and actually do that. So I'll let you and I sit down, talk about who might be involved and who might be where. I'll give you my
pretty good
written stuff so you can actually put out that list for yourself and we can share it.
Yeah. That's what, I was hitting up Dub and everyone else also, trying to get like some kind of projection. We could get maybe a pre-projection going and get something to talk about and
that is
brilliant.
For the
players and whatnot.
See, we've always needed you. We just didn't know it. But we knew it. We just didn't know what to do.
Well, the man.
I'm just here for the players, really, because like with semi-pro and they really take some of what they're doing serious and nobody usually was like covering and whatnot. So I was all like, even with me not being on the field, I still wanted to find some way to be around the game and give the players some of what that that NFL feel, that ESPN kind of something for them to go off of. So that's pretty much why I got into it. And it's taken off from different stuff. I've been posting and covering and looking into. It's definitely been helping some of the players. And even with the flag football that I've been covering, I believe been cut. And it took off so much that 2 teams are going to play against each other for, I believe they started to bet on, so they're playing against each other.
EJ, did you
sometimes soon. So we're definitely looking forward to seeing how everything's coming and taking off.
And look, we caught about 70. We cut about 70% of what you said because your Wi-Fi started or your internet signal started cutting out. So were you talking about 2 to 4 semi-pro teams that we were starting to cover and things were taking off? Or were you talking about the A7FL specifically? We kind of lost you in the middle of that.
They were bad. I think it's bad.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, look, EJ, we're blessed to have you on with us. Blessed to have you be part of the network. Blessed to have you involved with the A7FL, and I want to thank Mizzle for having wonderful family to help us out because you're a talented young man. And I've enjoyed working with you. I'm sure this thing is going to be lit.
Yeah, he does great work. No doubt about that.
For sure.
Now Mizzle's no longer through the steering wheel.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm holding the phone right now, so it looked pretty tacky.
Oh, you're good, man.
Hey, doing what you got to do.
To which, once again, for those that are interested in the field of editing, videography, photography, anything involved in the digital field, again, one more time, they see it. Creative Brothers Productions, they're always looking for people to help enhance their brand and to help their production. So, again, get with these talented young individuals. They are doing some very, very good things, as you can see. Now part of the A7FL, again, that is Creative Brothers Productions. Please, please, please get with them. They'll get you right. I promise you.
Yes, indeed.
Sorry, I'm distracted trying to type out what we said before to make sure I have this list going.
He is putting together the blueprint for the list here.
You rattled it off the top of your head. It sounded good. So
it did. I did it like that. That was nice.
Yeah, but I left 2 teams off, so it wasn't all that nice.
No, well,
yeah,
just
we didn't know
me,
that.
Not for me, but I mean, just the concept of seeing the force skilled players combined with the sick-witted force players almost dang near sounds like, Avengers Assemble. That's just, I mean, I'm intrigued to see that, just to see who's going to be a part of that.
One might even call it a super team.
Oh, here we go. Here we go with that. Here we go with that quote again.
I know a couple of people back east will call it a super team.
Oh, for sure.
I'm sure they would. Nonetheless, shout out to our good friends Rob Corey Matt from the.
I hear the video.
Podcast.
I hear the video playing in the background. It's gone.
Oh, that must have been missing.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll return. Travis just said, "Showing up the hard part, you still here." So, there you go. But nonetheless, folks, welcome to episode number 101 of The Other Side of the Ball. Double A here, along with Chris, Derek Duncan. Mizzle will pop back in momentarily. And we're joined by EJ Wizzle, part of the CUSN. That's the sports page for Semi-Pro that you can catch on Instagram, and also part of Creative Brothers Productions, who now just is now officially a part of the Other Side of the Ball network. He'll also be contributing, of course. In case you just missed it, about the Winter War, he put this little thing together. So we're going to show it one more time for those that are just tuning in. Stand by.
Hit reset.
Come on now. Okay, so we'll show it again later on as it wants to have technical difficulties. But that was the video that Cuz put together, guiding some very, very good stuff. As again, winter is indeed coming, as the Winter War, aka formerly known as the Fall Brawl, has now turned to the Winter War, starting in the month of January, leading up to the national season. And A7FL Streams and Means says, Suge Light Winter War preseason rankings, Insomniacs, Silver State Stealth, Alienators, Alliance, OTT Pit Bosses, Kryptonite, Gold, and Hunters. So there is their list for the Winter War preseason rankings, as we are 4 months away from throwing off the Winter Classic.
And now these guys, I want to see who Kryptonite, Pit Bosses, and OTT have.
Yeah, I want to see it too. There's a lot of things going on in the background, y'all, that are very, very, very exciting. So if those teams you specifically mentioned end up with the support that is being talked about, it could be very different in the A7FL next season. I mean, very different.
So is this the because we know that, let's face it, fall brawl is a tryout, right? People try out new things. They try out.
It was when it was fall brawl. Now that it's winter war and they're vying for that 4th spot in the A division and the right to play the big boys, it will be practice potentially for some of the top teams, but those guys who are looking to break into the A division, they're going to be putting forth their best effort.
Oh, no. And don't get me wrong when I say that. What I mean by that is if you are trying like OTT, we know that they're a very close tier 2 team or B team. And if we're going to look at that and they're going to try out some things,
right?
Somebody different at quarterback, maybe a head coach. I don't know what it is. I don't know. And I'm not going to pretend like I do. But if they're going to try it out in winter and we're going to be looking at this thing realistically, could it possibly be that they're trying out some different things along with a head coach?
Yeah, for sure.
Somebody that is going to keep them together.
For sure. Well, y'all, that's my time. I might pop back in later, but thank you for having me on. Y'all have a great rest of your show. Love you, fellas. And EJ, thanks again, brother. Appreciate you, man.
Yes, sir. Can't wait to work.
Asta.
All right. That is Suge Light chiming in and coming in. But back to your point, Chris. I mean, it is Suge Light.
Oh, no. It looked like you were the sound almost sounded like you were sharpening a knife. Not pumping up a ball.
I'm pumping up a ball. But
yeah.
Which nonetheless, folks, the fall brawl, if I'm not mistaken, will be taking place at Matter Academy, which was our home for the national season, if I'm not mistaken. So catch us in January. Again, interesting things going on, trying to build up a top-tier division that will apparently be doing some cross-country playing this year or next season in 2025, as of course, the Insomniacs trying to be the first team to three-peat and join the Patterson Union with the most titles held in A7FL history. But, I mean, it's very interesting to see how these teams will come together, seeing the Alliance make a return, seeing what the Stealth can represent, and also to see the best uniforms during Fall Brawl, because I was a huge fan of the Alienators uniforms.
Yeah.
I just wish they glow in the dark, but nonetheless, definitely will be interesting to see. True, it would be.
Yep.
And of course,
I mean, I think the biggest thing for us, right, if we're at Matter, which I think we will be, if I'm not mistaken, that press box. And the only reason why I'm bringing that up is not because of weather or anything else, but it was truly difficult to call games last year or last season, only because we're higher than
literally
the players
on the field,
but we're literally on the field, and we're only about, what would you say, Dub? Maybe 2 feet taller than the players.
Yeah, an inch and a half, 2 feet. That is right. Now, Travis, I'm pretty sure you guys should be automatically included in that, but hopefully, in your guys' case, hopefully the whole team shows up, and we don't have a situation like we had during the playoffs.
But it wasn't, and I got to give the Nightcrawlers, kind of their due, because it wasn't that their players didn't show up. It was more on the fact of travel and the problem travel creates. So I mean, let's face it, man. The best thing that we could have happen is when we go to do the crossplay, is actually have all the teams there with no problems, no situations, no travel situations that have created problems, and had teams doing things on a light way, right? So I'm hoping that this coming season we can see these teams traveling together and really pulling things together. Because you know what, I'm done, and I'm going to say it on the show. I'm going to say it right now. I'm done with the whole situation of West Coast versus East Coast. Done with it. We are the A7FL. the Nevada division has proven themselves to have a champion that's back-to-back and going for a three-peat next season. And let's face it, that's exactly what they are. So when we start talking about that, all I'm saying is it is time for us to understand that for us to really win as a league,
as a whole,
we can't have this fraction anymore. It needs to be no more East Coast versus West Coast or Midwest versus anybody. It is the A7FL, period. So while I still love all my teams out here, and yes, I will be biased from time to time, it is what it is, and I expect the guys on the East Coast to do the same because we've got to back our home teams. But bottom line is, you will no longer hear me say anything negative about the East Coast. I've talked to too many guys over there. Loud being one of them. Great dude. If you ever have a chance to speak with this man, really good dude, and he is one of the guys that, just like CP3, that came out to say, hey, the West Coast got something. We need to grow this as a league. Enough with the BS. Enough with the East versus West. And even with the Nightcrawlers, because I know, talking to most of the Nightcrawlers and Travis, excuse me, I'm not going to have you chime in because I don't think it's fair to ask you this, but I know a lot of the Nightcrawlers didn't consider themselves East Coast.
No.
They feel that they're in a total different division, and they didn't consider themselves East Coast at all. So when we played them 2 years ago, it wasn't East versus West in their eyes. And let me tell you,
versus the South.
Exactly. And let me tell you, some of those dudes I had an opportunity to really get to talk to, Bagway being one of them. And God, why am I can't? I'm
Logo.
thinking about it, but Logo being another one. And let me tell you, man, these guys are the most down-to-earth people you'll ever meet. I'm friends with both of them on Facebook. Bagway has some of the greatest things to say, and some of the stuff that he says is just, really moving. Love the dude. And I can never say a bad thing about him.
We were fortunate to have Logo as a guest on this show, and it was a very, very tremendous interview. And I second what Chris said about Logo. Just very down to earth, very humble, and just really is about harnessing his craft. And by the way, folks, he can play this game of A7. If you don't believe us, go do yourself a favor. And please go put on the 2023 championship game between the Insomniacs and the Nightcrawlers, and just watch what Logo Davis did in that game, to where he had the golden sombrero of touchdowns, which would be 5. 4 is the sombrero, but 5 is the golden sombrero. So he definitely displayed his talent and displayed his athleticism. And we talked about, speed is different in different areas of the country. And we said that Florida's speed is different. Chris and myself saw that first fledge on the field of just how different it is in person. Now I spent the first.
Just one thing, because you'll as soon as I say it, you'll be like, yes. Q's pick on the end zone, going into the end zone, and then taking off. I thought he had a touchdown. Tell me about speed with big man walking him down. Tell me I'm wrong. I've never seen a big man move like that in my life, and that dude was moving.
I will say this: if it was anybody other than Q, it more than likely probably would have been a touchdown, or it would have been deep in.
Q slow?
Q's a quarterback. I love Q.
He's still. What I'm saying is, Q is not a slow man.
No, he's not.
By any stretch.
He's slow. What I'm saying is, okay.
Big dude was moving.
That he was. That he was.
Moving.
No,
wow.
Seeing the Florida speed the day before in the flag tournament was something ridiculous. I'm watching this as I'm calling this with Big Rob and Corey in Bullhead City, but just to see it, I've spent the first half of the game. I was on the Nightcrawler sideline, and just watching it from their point of view. Yeah, well, we saw that. We saw that.
We saw that firsthand, bro.
Yeah,
we saw that
yes.
firsthand, Travis. Man, that man can move.
So he's a bull. Okay, there we go. There we go. South Florida Bull.
The only person that impressed me that whole weekend more than the guys from Florida was the kid that ran his 40 at we had him and dude 6'4", 215 pounds. I had him clocked in when he ran his first 40. I had him clocked at 4.12. And one of the other guys had him at 4 flat. We had him as low as, I want to say somebody had him as low as 4 seconds even. And the highest was 4.2.
Didn't he run that barefooted?
No, he ran it with cleats.
Oh, he ran with cleats? Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Because I know somebody ran the 40 barefooted and had a very impressive time running it barefooted.
That was one of the other kids, and he ran a 4. He wound up running either a 4.4 or 4.2. 4.3. I can't remember. But this kid, watching him run his 40 was different. I've never seen speed like that live. And when he crossed and I hit my time clock, and I was my stopwatch, and I clocked him as soon as he crossed. Right, click, and I'm like, this can't be right. I literally started asking because there's 3 of us on one side, 3 of us on the other side, so 6 total. So I looked at some of the other guys' stopwatches, and I think it was a matter of us hitting that stop button. But like I said, I had him at 4.12. Somebody had him at 4 seconds, and our highest was 4.2. I want to say 4.23, and the lowest was 4 seconds. So he was moving at 6'4". So basically, we're talking Randy Moss's size, 6'4", 215. I mean, if that kid comes out and plays in the A7, ooh, you are not going to be able to cover him.
No, that's going to be issues. That is definitely going to be issues for sure. But nonetheless, hi, folks. Well, we always say there's a difference between football speed and track speed.
Oh yeah. Can you imagine you see Bolt coming out and playing NFL?
Oh Jesus. Oh God.
That'd be like.
All he would have to do is just run one route. That's it.
Yeah, go route. I mean, basically, you're talking Bullet Bob Hayes all over again.
Yes.
And nobody could run with Bob Hayes, which is what created the over-the-top coverage with the safety. And he'd usually run by both of them anyway. If he's even, he's leaving.
Well, that's why they always say that's why they always say the term world-class speed.
Speed, yes.
Willie Galt had world-class speed. Bullet Bob Hayes had world-class speed. Ronaldo Skeets Nehemiah had world-class speed. James Jett, along with Willie Galt, who won a gold medal, had world-class.
Didn't he?
I know
he was on track, but I think he was like a 4.2 guy. I'm not sure. Not sure.
Well, I'm pretty sure he was, because I mean, when you have a nickname of the Rocket, you can't be coming out the block slow for sure.
No, hell no.
But nonetheless, folks, welcome to episode number 101 of the Other Side of the Ball. It is myself and Chris Vera holding down the fort. We were joined earlier by Derek Duncan, who was making some announcements about the upcoming Winter War Classic that's coming up in January. We were also joined by Mizzle, my co-host of the Mizzle and Dub Show, which, by the way, this week you will catch us. You will catch us on another episode of Talking Ish, as we talk about the week 1 of the upcoming season. That's the Football and Pass, which actually starts tomorrow and on Friday. So
when are we going to talk about that? Or when are we going to have our show? Yeah, that's the way I feel about it. Because I don't know when days off anymore.
Well, this week is his weekend off, so I mean, we could do a Saturday show or a Sunday recap. I don't know.
might have to do Saturday because we could recap Thursday and Friday.
Correct.
Talk about the upcoming games on Sunday.
Correct.
So I think we might have to jump on Saturday sometime.
Yeah, because there are some things that did happen leading up to tomorrow's action, which we'll talk about another time. But nonetheless, glad you're with us here
Especially with
on
your
episode
team
10.
signing Trent.
Yeah. Needless to say, that goes without saying. But nonetheless, glad you're with us here on episode 101. We're also joined by EJ Wizzle, part of Creative Brothers Productions, who's now a part of the Other Side of the Ball Network, who will now be helping, contributing, and making a power rankings for the ASMFL, which will now turn to official top 10 countdown, sort of like what they do in the ranks of college football with the AP poll, the coaches poll, and not exactly a computer system like the old BCS, or as I like to call it, the BS, because it was a whole bunch of BS with that doggone computer.
It really was.
But we can do a whole other show about that. But nonetheless, I'm just curious to see these teams. I know that some teams have been practicing in preparing for the fall brawl. I know the Alliance is starting to get back together and get ready for the Winter Classic. I know the Stealth has been out there adamantly putting their roster together. Interesting to see that if the Insomniacs do stick to the word and just have, I guess, their B team, for lack of a better term, get out there, which is still a very formidable opponent because, I mean, during the fall brawl last season against the Alienaires, vividly, they had their B team and they still put up 47 points and still handled business. So, I mean, it just goes to show you that if you're a well-coached team, as they say, the beat does go on. So, I mean.
But you know what? That if you remember, we had this debate. Probably about I want to say it was shortly after the championship last year.
Mm-hmm.
If coaches were needed in the A7, right? We had that whole debate. We had a show basically almost dedicated to this. And the debate was whether or not coaches were needed at the A7 level rather than just doing player coaches. And my question mark is, I didn't even think about it until after this last championship game. You know, what was the true difference? Now, we could point to coaching. We could point to a lot of things, just players doing their thing. Danye doing his thing on the return. You know, we could point to a lot of different things. But my question mark is, you know, because of Scotty getting injured, does coaching come into play with that? And to me, in a way, it does. And I'm not saying that that's what made the difference in the game. So nobody take that and run with it and say, "Oh, Chris said." No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is there a little bit, because you've got somebody that is not involved in the game, they're disconnected, or should be, as a coach, emotionally, and you should be disconnected from plays that have happened before. You have you have amnesia, just like the corner would after he's been beat. So what I'm saying is it possible that having that coach's look at what's going on the field, is that a possibility of what helped the Insomniacs win their second championship, because of the decisions that were made on how they were going to move forward? And we all know that there's plenty of coaches on the Insomniacs as players. We know this. So when I say this, you're talking about fundamentally a mixture of player coaches and coaches standing off on the sidelines watching what's going on. So that's why I'm asking the question: is it a possibility that helped these guys move forward and win the championship? I don't know.
Well, I'll give you one up, because just being there on the sideline during that game, some of the players were getting, frustrated with the refs' lack of not making calls. But just the one thing I remember is I just remember the coaches telling them to chill out, calm down. We'll take care of that. You go worry about the next play and go play football. And that seem to be just, their mind, and that just seems to be like an ease because, because you and I both know there's missed calls in every single game. The old cliche of you can literally call holding on every single play.
Yep.
This, that, and the third. But my point being is, because obviously for the Insomniacs, they got Coach James Burgoyne. Obviously, they have Steve Dyson. Obviously, they have Tommy Smith, and they got Jason Brown. Those four guys,
amazing.
Basically just calm them down, talking about, hey, we'll do the reps.
You guys go play ball.
You guys go out there and play. And then Chris McWillie became another coach after he played about a few plays. And then he basically said, D-line, come with me. And then he started coaching them up.
Yep.
And then it just all came together because, again, and we've talked about this at verbatim forever about how it just seems like when they get down by 2 scores, that just seems like they wake up, and it wakes them up, and that's when they play
lights
seemingly out at their best. Don't know why that is.
You know what? And the thing about it is, if you think about it, the Insomniacs can play with a lead, but they seem to thrive on coming from behind in championships. And and if you remember when we were talking about this, and we talked about this with the guys from the East Coast, and we talked about when we're coming up to the championship game, one of the things I brought up was penalties. And I said penalties were going to be the difference in this game. Now, if you remember when we were talking about this, and if you remember the penalties that cost BIC, because they were in they were on the 15, I think. They were
deep in the Insomniacs territory. They were in scoring range.
And they turned the ball over because on 4th down they couldn't convert because it was like 4th and goal from the 40. Or maybe even further back. I can't remember, but it was a penalties. So, the thing about it is, can you, if they would have had coaches on the sidelines, could they bring their team back from those penalties and do the exact same thing that you just said from the sidelines? Hey, don't worry about the refereeing. We got that. Go play your game. Would that have made a difference? We don't know. We don't know. But what I'm saying is, it's just a point that I'm bringing up because we were talking about the differences between the two teams and the coaching. Don't get me wrong. BIC is an incredible, incredible team. And watching them play all season, they showed how good they really are.
Agreed.
Now,
agreed.
Does that also play into the fact, and I wasn't there, so I'm not going to sit here and tell you, oh, I know that they're arguing on the sidelines. I have no idea. I heard that after the fact, that there was a little bit of argument going on the sidelines. Again, would a coach make a difference in that situation? And that's only going off of the rumor of there being kind of that little arguments on the sidelines. Could a coach have settled that down and brought these guys back ready to play? That's all I'm saying. Is that the difference? We don't know. We have no idea if it is or if it isn't. All I'm saying is it was the contrast of the two, right? What you saw on the sidelines coming from and standing on the sidelines watching the Insomniacs, and then seeing what we saw from BIC. Now, I'm not taking nothing away from those guys, man. I think that if we wanted to put together our top teams, top 4 teams right now, and I put Insomniacs number 1 because they are the champs. BIC number 2 because that's where they ended up, right?
They were the runner-up.
Yep. Then I'll go with Sick With It in the U. Now, you could argue with me, the U should be over Sick With It. Sick With It should be over the U. That's me, and you could say I'm a homer for saying that. Cool. But I'm not taking anything away from Mark Gray and his group, because during the season, they were the only ones to beat the Insomniacs.
Correct.
Therefore, in my eyes, they're number 3 because I have to put BIC number 2 because they're the runner-ups. And nothing taken away from BIC. I would love to see a game of BIC versus the Insomnia. Versus sick with it. I think that would be a hell of a game as well. I would love to see Sick with It play the U, or the U play Insomniacs. I think that would also be a hell of a game. And I'm not counting out anybody else. These are the teams that I'm talking about because of where they finished. Period. Our Nightcrawlers, another team. I would like to see at full strength go against any four of these teams that I just mentioned. Absolutely love to see it. Love to see it, because we know what they do.
You might need to make sure you got plenty of light bulbs for the scoreboard, because that scoreboard might be flickering a lot.
It's getting lit up. So that's all I'm saying, is that we've got some really good teams, and I think that my opinion, again, I'm not going out on a limb or nothing, because we did this with when I was in Flag, and I was, I own part of this. Not part of the Flag League, just part of what we decided, which was the way Chris Griffith used to do it was there's an A division and a B division. We were even talking about making a C division. Guys that haven't played before, but they have to prove themselves, right? So if you won the C championship, you would move up to B. If you won the B championship, you moved up to A. That's the way we had always done it. But the fact to see what Derek is doing with this, having A division, very competitive, having the B division, which should be very competitive, is taking a page out of that, and watching these guys play each other is going to be very interesting. That's all I'm saying.
Because that's a very good question. EJ Wizzle asked, for our viewers watching and or listening. He asked, what would be the main objective of a team to focus on in the Winter Wars? Well, I mean,
winning.
Well, I mean, if you're in the top tier division, obviously it would be to win. And if you're in that tier 2, is to try to get into tier A. Well, obviously you play to win the game. First and foremost, you play to win the game.
But
in some of these cases,
it's going to be to play the big boys in the A division. And because right now we only have 3 teams in the A division. So you're basically playing for that 4th spot. Now, what I didn't ask Derek is, what if the Insomniacs win? They're already in the A division. So then do you say, okay, the runner-up then moves up to the A? What if that runner-up is a team that's put together, Silver State Stealth? So I mean, there's a lot of questions that go behind this, but at the same time, I also see where he's coming from, because let's face it, there's going to be some really good talent. We saw it last year, in the Fall Brawl. Total different thing from the Fall Brawl coming this season, but let's face it, really good talent.
Yeah, well, I mean, for me, the 2 that stood out for me, and we're just strictly talking non-Insomniacs, but again, the 2 that stuck out for me during the Fall Brawl last season was Jaden Webb and Devontae Moncrief of the Alienators. Those 2 really just stood out for me. And then we saw what Jaden Webb did for the Force this past season, and just continue to elevate his game. And for me, that's the one thing that I'm going to look to see is, okay, who's going to be that next Jaden Webb or that next Devontae Moncrief to show off their talents in the Winter War and help propel them into whatever team they decide to play for during the spring season. That's the one thing for me that I'll be paying attention to, is who's going to be that guy that is
Can I say it? I'm going to say it. Okay.
Go ahead.
The team that I'm most interested to watch, because my boy is always recruiting, always doing a great thing, and if he's part of it, then I know we're going to have some talent to watch, which is my boy Vince Young with the Kryptonite. Dude, I want to see what he brings, because he always seems to get talent that we don't know about, right? He's the one that brought Scotty in. Now, and I'm saying, this is talent that we didn't know about. We had no
Mhm.
idea about until they played, right? They knew about this. All these guys knew about it. But what I'm saying is to watch him bring in the talent that he did, to get to meet Viking. He's the one that started, Viking came with him. A lot of these guys, Knox, another one. I didn't know him until VY brought him in for the Kryptonite. So there's a lot of these guys that I'm seeing coming in that I appreciate the fact that these guys coming in off these teams.
Well, just seeing VY get back in the game and get back on the field or getting back involved is just a blessing within itself.
More so than you know, man. Great to see. Considering how bad things were with that accident,
yes.
Seeing him in the hospital kind of shook me. But to see him back out there and to see the stuff that he's doing again, man, I'll tell you what, could not agree more with you. It's just a blessing to have my boy back. And I really can't wait to see him out there. And it's something I'm looking forward to.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Of course, again, this will all take place in January in the Winter War. And hopefully this video wants to act right, just to give you a quick preview of what this is going to be like. Hopefully, nope, still wants to not act right.
Is it just frozen?
It might be.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it wants to do anything.
Oh
man. So
here we go. I got
it.
You got it. So, folks, here's what we're promoting for January. Stay tuned.
Winter is coming. And he can make something magical happen here. And there goes the ball. It's going. It's going. You're a fan. Battles will be won. Hold on now.
At the 30, and he
Who's going to take victory?
And that's why championship points matter.
It's time for war.
And again, that is the Winter War coming to you in January. Now, if you want to sign up and play in the Winter War, all you got to do is scan that QR code, and it will give you all the information you need if you want to participate as a player in the Winter War coming in January of 2025. So again, scan the QR code if you want to play in the Winter War coming up this January. So there you have it. And we'll play it one more time as we go off the air, just to get you pumped up one more time.
I'm giggling for another reason.
For the Winter War, which again we thank Creative Brothers Productions for putting that together. EJ Wizzle and his talented team putting all that together. And again, videography, photography, videos. If this is your expertise, if this is your field, if you want to get involved in this, again, get with Creative Brothers Productions. They'll get you right. So shout out to them for putting that fantastic video together. As you are hanging out with myself and Chris on episode 101 of The Other Side of the Ball here on the Other Side of the Ball Network. Our appreciation and thanks to Mizzle and EJ Wizzle and Derek for hanging out with us earlier on in the hour as me and Chris are taking you home, coming down the home stretch as we've been talking about. Yes.
What's that?
Oh, I thought you was gonna say something. My bad.
No, I was gonna say, downstairs earlier, and I was like, this is the best time of the year for me. And of course, my youngest, and you know her, she says, "Oh yeah, it's because Christmas is around the corner." I was like, "Hell no, it's football season." And she gave me this dirty look, and she's like, "No, it's fall." And I said, "Yeah, football season." And turned around and started to walk upstairs, and all I heard from behind me was, "It's Christmas season." I'm like, "Yeah, football season. That's my present." Tomorrow it all starts, man. I'm in seventh heaven, and yes, it's gonna be tough because I'll be on the road on the 16th. So I'll be watching Monday Night Football probably from some bar somewhere. I don't know where. Well, I do know where. I'll be in Arizona. So I'll be watching it from either the bar at the hotel or somewhere watching the game. So
well, you can always go to Westgate. Westgate's a very popular hangout spot in the Glendale area near the big toaster that is State Farm
that's
Field.
Glendale. I'm staying in Mesa.
Oh, you're staying in Mesa?
That's a little ways away, but it don't matter because it's pretty cool. So I stay. There's a Marriott, and then there's a Hilton, really close to it.
Nice.
And both bars
nice.
are really nice, and they have multiple screens. So I'll be watching football somewhere, guaranteed.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure I'll be getting a text message. What the heck was that? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. I mean, Sunday, I haven't really said a whole lot, but if anybody wants to come over and watch games, yes, I'm saying it on a podcast. But I'm hanging out, watching the games on Sunday, relaxing. Dub, you've been over. I got the big screen behind the bar. I'm gonna be hanging out, watching. But if you do come over to my house to watch games, you better bring something. This ain't no freebie. If you want to come over, BYOB, and bring some snacks.
Well, I will just say this. The youngest daughter loved me of all the doggone chips that I brought over the last season. That's for sure. She was in seventh heaven.
You can still have some in the closet in the pantry.
I believe it.
I think I do. I know my wife. We're doing something, and my wife's like, "Oh, we need some dipping chips," and I'm like, "Go look in the pantry." She looked in the pantry. Never mind. I said, "Thank Dub."
Well, I mean, I try to come. I try to come prepared. I try to come in and contribute to the cause. But I would just say this now for those that do it, which I probably will be one of those guys doing it again this year. Just prepare yourself. His dog River is gonna love the heck out of you. Just make sure you pet her,
and don't piss her off.
Don't make her mad.
Don't piss her off, because she's a 65-pound Akita. And she is slowly getting an attitude. So you really got to make sure that you give her some love. You'll be okay. And if you're afraid of big dogs, stay home. That's all I'm going to say. Stay home. Don't come over to my house.
But she is very friendly, though.
Yes.
That I will say. She is very friendly. Just, pet her a few times. Now, she might get obsessive with the love me, but that's just that's good for your health.
Yes. And she is tall enough now, Dub, that my daughter, she can put her paws on her shoulders.
Oh Lord. Yikes.
Yeah. When she stands on her back paw, she put her paws on her shoulders. She's grown. So she is a big pup of 2 years old. So now she'll just start putting on some weight. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, yeah, man, I'm looking forward to football in general. I'm looking forward to what A7 brings us in January. I'm kind of glad that we're doing it in January, because the only Sundays that we'll have are obviously, I'll bring my iPad, because if there's any games that we're going to be missing, it will be on that iPad.
Well, it will be during the playoffs, because I know last year during the fall brawl, I had to hide my containment and my excitement.
Yes.
During the NFC title game between the Lions and the Niners. And I remember while we were watching the game, and Zelly was giving me stuff because the Lions were up, and when we were on commercial, said, "Zelly, the game's not over yet." And then every time the Niners would make a play, Scott would nudge me, because obviously Scotty's a Lions fan. And
sometimes when you were even in the middle of calling something, he would nudge you. And I'm like, dude, leave him alone until he's done. I'll push pause.
No, well, obviously, no, you couldn't see it, but I definitely was fist pumping when something good happened.
Yeah.
But definitely could not describe what was going on. But no, it was fun times. But definitely looking forward to being in the booth at Matter Academy, which of course the booth is up and running during the current season for the Matter Knights, who are in the middle of their football with the NIAA. Obviously, we saw some of the Insomniacs coaching there at Western High School. Of course, Big Kenny Mack is coaching at Desert Pines, coaching the Jaguar, or
is he over,
coaching the Jaguar.
is he over at the Desert Pines? Because I know he
Yeah.
was a Banana.
No, he's coaching the Jaguars this year.
Oh, nice.
So saw him on the sideline, Dean, or coaching the O-line. I know Scooter is the defensive coordinator for the Western Warriors. I know D-Rock is part of the coaching staff along with Chris McWillie. I know, of course, Munchie, who by his help got us to play at Hatter. He's a part of the coaching staff there.
Right.
So,
and we can't forget about D's little brother, who I think,
yes,
if I'm not mistaken, is still coaching the defense over at Bonanza.
Yes, he is.
And Alonzo,
Also-
who
Also, Coach Mack, who I believe is the defensive coordinator at Bonanza. So
yes, and I'm not 100% sure, but I know Alonzo has something to do with my alma mater, which is Valley High School.
yes, I don't know if he's doing football, but I know he's coaching the baseball team for sure. I don't know if he's involved in football, but so you are a Valley Viking. Interesting.
I am. Class of '89.
Oh yes. Wow, 35 years. Sheesh.
Hey! You don't have to remind me. You don't have to
Well,
remind me.
Heck, I've been out for 23, so I'm still scratching my head at that.
23, so I'm 12 ahead of you. Oh man, I didn't need to go there.
No, because it's Valley High here in Vegas also.
Yeah, Valley High.
Which I'm pretty sure there's a Valley High somewhere because they always recycle names just like they recycle mascots.
Oh, of course. But so Valley High is one of the original 13 high schools here in Vegas. So when I graduated, when I graduated high school, we had 859 seniors.
Wow.
We also had the largest graduating class in Vegas at the time, and
Wow.
not jokingly, realistically, we were talking about, I can't remember who we were talking about this with, but we had our senior shirts, and if you tucked in your senior shirt, like for me, because my last name starts with a V, I would be in your shorts. You couldn't see my name because of how far it went on your shirt. So you couldn't tuck in your senior shirt. Your senior shirt had to be left out for you to see all the names on the back of the shirt.
Cuz what were your team colors? I know right now the team colors at Valley is red and something
white,
else. I believe.
red and blue. Red and blue.
Red and blue. Okay.
So we said red, white, and blue because it does have some off-color white within it, but it is red and blue.
All right. Cuz what was your mascot's colors? I know me.
Oh no, our mascot was the Viking too.
No, I'm asking EJ. No, okay, so theirs was royal blue and gray and white.
Yeah.
Oh, almost very Arlington Cowboys like.
Yes, and ours were. It's funny the way schools kind of, like you said, recycle colors and
names.
Valley. Yeah. So when we had our senior parking spots, I painted my spot red, white, and blue because it did match the colors on the of our building at the time. So, it is what it is, man. You're once a Viking, always a Viking.
Yeah,
funny.
well, just
I'm
don't.
a Viking McCorkle, and I'm a Viking. I'm a Valley Viking. So
No, it's very interesting. But one thing is for sure, just don't say Red Hawks around my mom because she will throw something at you and she'd be like, I'm an Apache, not a Red Hawk. As her alma mater, they changed mascots from the Apaches to now the Red Hawks. Don't get her started. But nonetheless,
pretty sure the high school my mom went to is no longer around. Anyway.
But
Well, she is
nonetheless, folks, God bless her. But nonetheless, folks, thank you for hanging out with us here on episode 101 of The Other Side of the Ball. As me and Chris are coming down the home stretch and going to take you home. Once again, we appreciate Mizzle for chiming in with us, and also Derek Duncan for chiming in with us, and EJ Wizzle of Creative Brothers Productions for coming in with us, and also now officially being a part of the Other Side of the Ball Network and his involvement with the Ace NFL, as he and his production crew will help do some things and help enhance the Other Side of the Ball channel and help enhance the league as a whole. So we are very grateful and thankful for that, and definitely appreciate him and his crew's talents of what they will contribute to the league. Again, one more time before we get out of here again, if you want to play in the Winter War coming up in January of 2025 here in Central Nevada, it happens nowhere else. Does not happen in the Northeast for obvious reasons because it's cold as heck. They don't have this in Florida.
There's snow on the ground.
Because there's snow on the ground also. Only place you will see this is here in Nevada. So if you want to participate in the Winter War, scan that QR code that you see right now on your screen, and it will give you all the information that you need to be a part and participate and get on a team in the Winter War coming in January of 2025. Of course. Well, thank you for
we're, September, October, November,
4
December,
months.
January. 4 months
4
away
months.
from 2025. That's crazy.
Yeah, it'll be here quick. It'll be here quicker than you know it.
Not to mention, I am literally 2 months away from having a 23-year-old.
Oh boy,
that is nuts to me. So the year you graduated was the year she was born.
Wow. 2001, yes, sir.
That is wow. I don't even know what to say. I mean, shit, half the guys that play in A7 aren't too much older than my daughter. Well, my oldest. I do have a youngest, but that's just crazy, man. I'm blessed. Blessed to still be here. Blessed to enjoy doing this with you guys and talking a little football, talking a little ish. Oh, by the way, just so you know, and I don't know if you realize it, but Angry Cowboy fan that was on our podcast when we're doing the live show from with it was Talking Ish with the three of us last week. He is national, and we're on his national page. Just so you know.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
He commented on ours. I commented on his. So by us doing that, it shows up on his national now.
Wow. Well, maybe we might need to get him to make a guest appearance on Talking Ish, and he can unleash his passion about his beloved team that you and him root for. That's pretty awesome. We appreciate that. Thank you very much. Which again, sometime this week you will get an episode of Talking Ish. Well,
oh yeah.
Since I'm promoting, you will see this this show coming up pretty soon. Definitely this upcoming week for sure, as it is Christmas season for the three of us, as I like to say, as it all gets started
Christmas Eve.
Tomorrow.
It's Christmas Eve.
It is Christmas Eve. You're right. The presents,
by the way, just out of curiosity again, who do you have on Friday? I forgot.
I picked the Eagles over the Green Bay Packers.
Yep, so did I. Okay, just curious.
And I picked the Ravens to beat Kansas City tomorrow.
That's right.
I'm really tired of hearing about the Taylor Swifts. That's what I'm going to. They are now the Kansas City Swifts because.
Hold on. I'm not. We'll get into this more on our show, so I won't keep a big thing of it. But did you see that Travis Kelce has hired a lawyer because some damning information just came out that his whole relationship with Taylor Swift is nothing but a
publicity stunt?
Yes, nothing more.
Wow.
And that people have proof, and it's being leaked online right now.
Oh boy. Well.
Yeah. I mean, have you seen his past girlfriends?
I have.
He likes to dabble in the chocolate, so I'm kind of surprised.
Well, I mean, Just tune into this show and we'll talk more about that.
We'll hear about it. More about
as we're coming up against it. Also,
Yeah.
don't forget to check out our good buddies, the All Pro Jaffos, coming to you Fridays at 7 p.m. on the highly elevated sports talk for the highly elevated sports fan on the Pernita Brothers YouTube channel. Also, again, don't forget about Loud and his show, CP3 and his show, The Parlay, Chris's good friend RTU.
Yeah, I love that. No, actually, I love RTU. Really love him.
Course,
he's a great dude.
And of course, the 3-on-1 podcast, all a part of the Other Side of the Ball Network. Thank you to everybody that hung out with us. Special thanks to EJ Wizzle for coming on and blessing his presence on the show, along with Mizzle and along with Derek Duncan. 2-5 Viking. We miss you guys. Hopefully, you guys will come back soon.
Presence very soon.
Yes, indeed. We need random Scott McCorkle randomness because the show is not the same without it.
But naked booty scoots.
That too. Chris, anything final before we put a bow and a wrap on Highway 101?
Parting shots, maybe.
Oh, go ahead.
I think that I'm trying to figure out, do I want to go sentimental?
Mm-hmm.
Because we're at Christmas Eve for a lot of us.
Mm-hmm.
Or do I want to keep it real? How do I want to end this? And I guess I'll say this. All of us grew up watching football. If you are part of this, you grew up watching football. Let's face it. You can't be a part of this if you didn't grow up watching football. We all love the sport, and anybody who's anybody knows that if you got injured playing football, once that injury healed, you're right back out there. Why? Because we love the sport. And football is one of those games that, you know, it's a punishing game. It's a game that, you know, it's one of those situations you're always going to have an injury. And we call it a fraternity for a reason, because guys that play this sport respect one another 99.9% of the time. We do have the dirty players, and I'm talking about from every division, every, you know, tier, whether it's NFL, NCAA, A7, UFL, whatever. Bottom line, it's still a family. And so in my eyes, I pull the East Coast family into ours, welcome you guys, tell you, you know what, let's have some fun, let's get the shit done, and let's get ready for 2025. I don't know how much time I have left on this planet. None of us are promised tomorrow. But as long as I'm doing what I'm doing with my boys, man, I'm going to have a blast. Dub, Viking, Knox, goes without say. And as far as my boy Derek is concerned, 30 years, man. 30 years we have been friends. And for 30 years, football has been our common denominator. Has that grown? Tremendously. And he is no longer just my boy. He's part of my family, has been for years. He's like a little brother. Love him to death, but doesn't change anything for any of you guys. So I've talked to plenty of guys from outside the state. There's some guys that have talked to me about doing some other things with football, and I'm always going to be here. There's some people that I introduced to the scout that we know, and Luis. I don't know if you're listening, man, but I can't wait for you to come back to Vegas. We need to go out and have a drink and a cigar. You know what's up.
Not only that, have him come back on the show.
Right? And this is something that's different, man. This is something that's really different when it comes to football. It is, you know, a very large group of men that understand the physicality and understand what it takes to play the game. And I am very proud to wear that badge and say I was part of it. and that I played. You know, I might not have played in the A7, and I know Corey gives a lot of shit to a lot of guys that play flag, but I think Corey understands after watching some video that the day that Derek and I played flag was much different from where they play flag now. And if we had A7 back then, every single last one of us would have been playing without a shadow of a doubt. So, you know what? Much love to my football family. Much love to this game that is here for us. And all I could say is, if you guys only knew how much this is Christmas Eve to me, you would understand where I'm coming from.
Well, I am definitely not going to try and comment over that. So I'll just say this. Take care of yourself and each other, and we will see you for episode 102 next week of The Other Side of the Ball here on the Other Side of the Ball Network. For the Viking from Asgard and for Live 25, as they're both on assignment. For Derek Duncan, for Mizzle, for our special guest today, EJ Wizzle, and for Chris, and for Double A. We say thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the other side of the ball. See you next week.
Awesome.